Hi, thanks for joining me today. July 1st, 2020. Happy Canada Day. Tucker Carlson has the highest rated program in cable news history. This story's from Forbes. Fox News Channel host Tucker Carlson closed out television's second quarter with one for the record books. His Tucker Carlson Tonight finished the quarter as the highest rated program in all of cable news for the first time since the show's launch, delivering an average total audience of 4.3 million viewers. In the process, Carlson broke a record held by his colleague Sean Hannity for the highest-rated quarter of any cable news program ever. It was a solid quarter for the network, which finished first place across all of cable television for the first time in the network's history, beating out all basic cable networks. Among total viewers for viewers 25 to 54, the demographic group most valued by national advertisers. Wow, that is a big deal. Fox News finished first across all of cable television. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily because of coronavirus or a lot less people are watching cable TV. There could be a number of factors that go into this, but kudos to Tucker Carlson for being number one for a quarter all time. That's incredible. It's interesting when I look back, I had not watched Tucker Carlson for a long, long time. And I read his book, I think last year. I did a book review on a book that he wrote. And I was shocked because this was not the same Tucker Carlson that I remember from decades ago with the bow tie just being a real jerk, right? It seems as though he's really evolved and changed, and he's definitely not the same person. I know there's a visceral reaction to a lot of people on the left about Tucker Carlson, but I'm going to challenge anyone that thinks that to maybe take a look at what he's doing today, because it is largely unrecognizable from the shtick he was doing earlier. Personally, I was shocked that I have found myself agreeing with him on many things. And I certainly don't think of myself as some, right-wing ideologue. Italy reports biggest seizure of amphetamines in the world. $1 billion worth of pills from ISIS in Syria, from CBS News. Italian police said Wednesday that they had seized a world record 15-ton haul of amphetamines made by ISIS in Syria. The drug, in the form of 84 million Captagon tablets, was worth about 1 billion euros. Police said in a statement describing the operation as the, quote, biggest seizure of amphetamines in the world. The shipment was hidden in 3 containers found in the port of Salerno, just north of Naples. Captagon, a brand name, was originally for medical use, but illegal versions have been dubbed, quote, the jihad drug, after widely used by ISIS fighters in combat, the police noted. First produced by scientists in the West to treat hyperactivity, depression, and other disorders in the 1960s, Captagon was banned in most places just a couple of decades later because it's so addictive. Lebanese psychiatrist Ramzi Hadid told the Reuters news agency in 2014 that Captagon affects users in the same way as many stimulants. It gives you a kind of euphoria, you're talkative, you don't sleep, you don't eat, you're energetic. Haddad said the drug was cheap and easy to manufacture with little more than a, quote, basic knowledge of chemistry and a few scales required. Euphoria, you talk a lot, you feel fantastic. I don't know. I think maybe I need to get some of this Captagon. I'm kidding. But what's interesting in this article was that it turns out that this is used widely by ISIS fighters that are in the field. They're taking this drug. And that's something that we don't think about a whole lot, What is a way to control people and get them to do things that you want them to do? Well, one of the easiest way to do is just give them a lot of drugs. And they're just going to go along with whatever you tell them to do. It seems that's what's going on right now. Now, this shipment was not intended, it didn't sound like it was intended for the Western world, mainly the Middle East and North Africa. But that's a lot of drugs. The New York Times has quit Apple News from Business Insider. The paper announced on Monday, June 29th, that it had ended its partnership with Apple, saying Apple News stopped the Times from directly connecting with readers and reduced its control over the placement of its articles. Quote, core to a healthy model between the Times and the platforms is a direct path for sending those readers back into our environments, where we control the presentation of our report, the relationship with our readers, and the nature of our business rules, New York Times COO Meredith Kopit Levin said in a memo to staff. Apple News, launched in 2015, is an app that presents news stories from the mainstream outlets, picked and placed by human curators. It was touted as a way for publishers to grow their business at a time when tech platforms were upending traditional revenue streams. Now, I gotta admit, I don't use Apple News, and so this makes no difference to me. I have an Android. Unlike, it seems, every blue check on Twitter, it seems like 100% of them have iPhones, which is interesting. And if you're getting all your news from Apple News, they can really shape the news that you get. But the fact that the New York Times is not going to be on there, I suspect that this is going to change really soon. I cannot believe that the New York Times would give up that influence to their audience. National security law. Britain set to confirm B&O passport offers to 3 million Hong Kongers, from South China Morning Post. Britain is expected to announce plans on Wednesday to allow nearly 3 million Hong Kongers eligible for the British National Overseas Passport to resettle there after China imposed a sweeping national security law on the city. British National Overseas, or B&O, passports were offered to Hong Kong citizens born before the 1997 handover. Under earlier versions of the British government's plan to extend the rights of those passport holders, every one of the 3 million Hong Kongers who qualified for the passport and their dependents could relocate to the United Kingdom to stay and work or study for extended periods of 12 months, creating a, quote, path to citizenship. Now, there is a lot of turmoil right now in Hong Kong, and it's incredible to see the UK offer these B&O passports to everybody, right? With a pathway to citizenship in the UK if they choose to do so. I mean, clearly they couldn't take in every single person, but I don't think every single person would go. But this is a story that I'm going to have to learn more about because our media doesn't do a great job of covering what's going on in Hong Kong. A certain frequency of red light boosted people's eyesight in a new study. This is from Gizmodo. Scientists in the UK think they may have found a cheap, low-tech way to help fight age-related loss of vision. In a small clinical trial, people over 40 who were told to stare into a deep red light for 3 minutes a day had noticeable improvements to their sight. They reported being able to see better in the dark and to better distinguish colors. The results are certainly intriguing, but it will take more studies involving many, many more people to know whether the therapy is truly effective. While red light therapy is unlikely to be dangerous, it's also called low light therapy, since the heat generated by it doesn't harm cells. Its actual track record for the number of potential health applications is still largely anecdotal and unproven. Now, an interesting thing about this story is red light is super cheap. I mean, I think they just had a flashlight with a little red filter on top. I know that I have a red light in my bedroom. It's just one of those party bulbs. You know, you just screw in. It gives off red light. And I have that for an hour before I go to bed. I turn off the regular light in my room, and I just have a red light. And the spectrum doesn't show me the blue lights, like that are especially in electronics that excite you and get you to stay awake longer. The red light does a real good job of calming you down and getting you ready for sleep. And so that's how I use it. But if red light can also be used to help improve eyesight, that's an incredible thing. Again, with all of these studies, they're really small and you really can't draw a lot of conclusions. It's mainly anecdotal, but I think that this is positive news. And thanks for watching. I appreciate you checking out all my news stories today. Let me know your thoughts on any of them in the comments. If you liked it, please hit the like button and share it. Have an awesome day. Peace.